What's up everyone, it's Kyle from Color Expression, back with another swatch and review. Alright, so today we are looking at the Cirque Colors Bring It Back collections part 1 and 2. So these are 8 polishes that previously were released by Cirque Colors. They were limited edition at the time of their initial release, but they did some polls, they surveyed the audience, and everyone got to vote on some favorites to bring back. So those are what we are looking at today. We're getting some do-good polishes, a lot of magnetics, some very cool pigments, and just beautiful things, so I am excited to look at them with you guys. If you don't know much about Cirque Colors, they are an independent nail polish brand that is based out of the USA. Their formula is non-toxic, 10-free, and they are vegan and cruelty-free. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already so you're never missing out on the new nail polish or Cirque Colors content. Let's take a quick look at some packaging and then head on to the swatches. So with the 2 Do Good shades in this re-release, we are getting the limited edition cartons that they came in. So here you can see the one for Firecracker. We're getting that really beautiful graphic design and branding all over it. And then the same for Very Valentino. We're getting that special edition box with all the little pets and the purple and they're just so cute. And then we do also get the special Do Good silver sort of mirror finish caps with these 2. So I thought that that was a nice inclusion. First up, we will look at Very Valentino, which was a Do Good shade released back in February of 2020. Back at the original launch and in this relaunch, 100% of the net proceeds will benefit Animal Haven, so if you pick this up, know that your money is going to a good cause. But onto the polish itself, this one is a sort of bright and pigmented pink jelly base, and then in there we're getting this sort of duochrome multichrome pigment that here in the application you can see it has this really strong sort of purple sparkle, and then once we start to wiggle the nail around, you'll get to see that color shift, and this one goes over through to a pretty deep, like reddish pink that matches sort of the base color, and then at the even more extreme angle, you'll get a little hint of bronze and gold, and I think that the really wide color shift on this polish is so cool and beautiful, and this was actually my first like indie multi-chrome polish, you could say, so this one has a special place in my heart. Next we have Halo, which was released as part of the Aura collection in early 2021. This was a collection of all magnetic shades, but they have this sort of silver magnetic pigment in them, and there's no really color shift. We just get these really cool magnetic effects. So in this swatch, we are doing our first coat, and then the second coat we are going to magnetize. So I do like to go in a little bit thicker with that coat just to make sure we get a lot of pigment, lots of stuff that can sort of center and create our magnetic design. And for this swatch and the next one, which were the Aura collection polishes, we're actually going to do the sort of velvet magnetic effect. So for that, I'm just going back and forth on each side of the nail a few times. I did it like 2 to 3 times on each side, and then sort of just let that sit a little bit longer, and then of course you want to do that again with your top coat. But you can see this sort of gives a really 3-dimensional effect. It almost looks like the nail could be popping in or out, like it's concave or convex. So I thought that this is such a cool effect. I'm really excited to keep playing around with it, but I mean really any way you use the magnet on this polish, it's going to be very cool. Next we have Bay, or Big Aura Energy, which was also a part of that Aura collection. This one is a sort of bubblegummy pink base, and then in there we're getting the silver magnetic pigment. And like I said on the last one, there's no really color shift in this pigment, but the effects that you get with the magnet on here is just going to be so cool. You can do so many different designs, and I do feel like with a pigment like this where it doesn't have the color shift, you can really sort of play around and get more creative with that magnet and sort of do different designs, have a little bit more fun. And I mean, you can do that with any magnetic polish, you can do whatever you want, obviously, but I think that something about these formulas just opens up a different layer of creativity than those sort of multi-chrome ones do. So again, we did that velvet effect back and forth on each side of the nail, and I feel like this one you could see a little bit more of that three-dimensional effect on camera, and it came through so much more in person. There's just not a way that you can fully show the dimensionality of a magnetic polish on camera. It's something you have to really see in person. Next, we'll look at Firecracker, which is the other Do Good shade, and this one was actually released just in January of this year, 2022, so not too long ago, but this one had 100% net proceeds benefiting the Welcome to Chinatown initiative, and that is the case again with the re-release. So this one is a magnetic polish, and you can see we're getting a super strong sort of cherryish red base color, and then in there it doesn't stand out too much right now, but there is this sort of golden, slightly duochromy magnetic pigment in here. So for this one and for the rest of the swatches, we are going to do the cat eye effect where you hover the line side of the magnet just right over the sort of center of the nail but at an angle, and you can see this brings all that pigment in. You get this really beautiful yellow glow. It almost reminds me of sort of like a firework or something. I think that the magnetic effect in this one is very unique but very pretty. Next up, we have Mood Ring, which was part of the Illusion collection released last fall. This one is a magnetic multichrome polish, and these were, I believe I said it in my video last year, but these were some of my favorite polishes released in 2021. The duochrome effect, the magnetic effect, the just really bright and punchy colors are all so spectacular, and 4 of the 6 shades are actually back right now. So we're going to look at those, but starting out with Mood Ring, this one is a sort of tealish green jelly base, and then in there we are getting so much of this magnetic pigment that, like, head on it looks sort of goldeny green here, and then it's going to shift over to a blue, and like at the super extreme angle in person you even get hints of purple, but you can see as we start to wiggle that finger around you get this sort of dark abyss around the concentration of magnetic pigment, and we're getting the 2 colored effects. You can see that teal along with that sort of goldeny green, and it's just such a cool effect, so beautiful. You can use toppers with these, you can do so many different things. I think that they are just spectacular. Next up, we have Mobius, again from the Illusions collection. This one is a magnetic polish with a sort of, I guess you could say it's like a dusty, sort of greeny teal base. It was hard to put a pulse on really what this base color is. And then in there, we are getting this magnetic pigment that starts out pretty blue, leaning head on. That's going to shift over to a purple and a pink, and then even a gold at the most extreme angle. And I did find some variation between some of these shades with how many coats I felt like I wanted. So for this one, I did do 2 coats without the magnet, and then on the 3rd coat, we're going a little bit thicker. We're getting more of that pigment on there, and then this one we will magnetize. And so some of the reason that I did that is with these jellyish bases, you don't want all that pigment to like suck away from the edges and then leave any bare spots. So I felt like that 3rd coat just really kind of covered up the nail. We're getting a lot of that pigment. You can see that really strong blue magnetic line, and then we're getting that subtle purple as well, that color shift in there. It's so cool. Such a fun mix of colors between the green and the blue and the purple. I just think that this one again is a really beautiful shade. Next up, we have Dream Within a Dream, which was also part of the Illusion collection. This one is a blue jelly base, and then in that we are getting a magnetic pigment that you can see starts out sort of purplish head on, and then as this one shifts through, we get some orange, we get some gold, and then at the most extreme angle, this one shifts over to like a greenish color. You'll see as we apply this and then put the magnet on, you will get that sort of bronzish effect in the swatches, but in person you do get some of that green as well. This was one that I found looked really good with just 2 coats, so we did the 1st coat and then magnetized the 2nd one, and you can see we're getting that really beautiful purple line, and then the hints of that sort of yellowy, but also there's like flecks of pink and orange going on in there. So I really like the dimension, the array of colors that we're getting. I just think that this is a really nice combination of things, and the finished nail is so pretty. The fourth polish brought back from the Illusion collection, and the final swatch we will look at in today's video is Paradox. This one is a magnetic polish with a sort of pinky purple jelly base. I can't really decide which one it leans more towards, so I'm gonna say it's both. And then in that we are getting this magnetic pigment, of course, and you can see head on it has this sort of blue shimmer with even like flecks of green in person. I felt like especially in the sun you're almost getting a little bit of green in this polish. And then we are putting on that second coat. I did actually find that 2 coats wasn't quite enough for the coverage I wanted on this one. You could see I had a little bit too much on the brush. Then I took some off, and then once I did the magnet, there was just some patchiness that I preferred to have covered up. So I went in for a third coat. We're just putting that on, and then once we apply the magnet this time, I felt like that looked so good. It really filled in that sort of top and bottom edge of the nail, and even as the pigment settles a little bit, it's gonna fill in that space a little bit more as well. But you can see that really strong blue line, then we're getting the purple, and in person, when this one keeps shifting over, you are gonna get some of that sort of like bronzy golden yellow color in there. So I thought that this one had a really nice, just full range of color in it. Now that we have looked at all of these shades, I want to, of course, hear your thoughts on them, so leave a comment down below. Let me know which one is your favorite. Did you originally pick any of these up when they were first released, or did you grab any in the re-releases that you didn't get to grab the first time around? I think that brands doing sort of like audience votes and then bringing back what people want is such a fun concept. It lets people continue to grow their collection if they got into a brand after certain things were released, or just there's so many reasons, but I love this whole concept and I'm really happy that Cirque has done it and maybe will continue to do it. So if there's polishes that they've released and no longer sell, definitely shoot them an email, an Instagram DM, just reach out to them and let them know, because they definitely are receptive to that feedback. Like I mentioned, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on that notification bell so you're always getting alerted when there's a new video up on the channel. I do think that's going to be it for this one today, though. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in the next one. Bye.